Pokemon cards. Old Pokemon cards, graded cards, blah, whatever. Base set this, rocket booster packs, base set booster boxes. They're all expensive as shit now. Like, what the hell happened? Did it really take a pandemic for these cards to be, like, super fucking expensive again? I guess so, like... It's just weird, dude. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know how we ended up in this bubble. But, besides the point, one of that specific axes that I'm going to be talking about today are graded cards. Cards like these. Cards like this that you see here. PSA Grade, Beckett Grade. I'm going to be explaining that today. What is it? How do you do it? Roll the intro. What's going on, guys? My name is Harris. Welcome back to my channel. And before we get into it today, if you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Go ahead and think about clicking that like and subscribe down below if you really like these types of topics here on my channel. I provide a lot of variety content here on my channel. And if I miss anything today, as far as questions or anything that you might still have that I didn't cover in this video, jump into my live streams. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Twitch. So you can just go ahead and hop into my chat and ask me anything. I'd love to talk with you guys. But for the topic of today's video, we're going to be talking about grading. What is grading? What is the process? What does it do to it? As well as how do you do it? Obviously, for today's video, we're going to be talking about Pokemon cards specifically. Grading is where you take a rare Pokemon card like this Charizard VMAX, for example, and you send it off to a company, a professional company that actually authenticates and grades the card itself. And two examples are Professional Sports Authenticator, also known as PSA, as well as Beckett Grading Services, BGS. These companies will take a look at your card in depth and see if it's perfect, if your card is in immaculate condition. And by doing this, you are adding a significant amount of value to the card. You are maximizing the total value of this card by doing this process. Now, keep in mind, not every single Pokemon card deserves to be graded. You actually need to do some research on what cards have to be graded and what cards should be graded. Also, keep in mind, guys, condition is absolutely everything. Your card absolutely must be perfect if you really want to consider sending it to PSA or BGS. So you need to take a special look at your card to see if there's any dings in the corners, dings on the edges, any sort of whitening spots on the top sides of the card. You have to make sure the centering is perfect. You gotta make sure the surface of the card is good. You have to make sure that your card looks great before you send it off. Now, which company should you pick? Should you pick PSA or BGS? Well, let me explain the real big difference between the two. The only real difference between the two is that Beckett Grading Services grades a lot harsher on the cards. So they grade on 4 criterias, which are centering, edges, surface, and corners. Beckett will offer a grade on each of these 4 criterias. That's why you'll see some Beckett cards have a 0.5 addition to their scale. They grade super harsh, and if you are lucky enough to get a Beckett Black Label, which is a pristine Gem Mint 10, on your card, it'll actually add way more value than a PSA 10. A Beckett 9.5 is basically a PSA 10. Will this craze last forever? I'm not too sure. I'm not really good at this stuff, so I'm not really like the person to ask. I think the bubble might burst eventually, but right now we're just in like a super high right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and explain some steps on how you want a PSA graded card. And the first step that we're going to talk about today is the research. This is probably the most important step ever because this research will actually matter. You want to research which specific card you want to get graded, and to do this, you want to go look on eBay. So for this video, we're just going to take a look at the Charizard that I had, the Charizard Rainbow VMAX, and we're just going to basically build a submission on top of that. So as I'm saying, the first step is to research, and you want to research what the approximate value of your card is. If you really think that your card is going to be a PSA 10, you want to look at, what PSA 10 Rainbow Charizards go for. So we're here on eBay, and what you want to do is you're going to want to go over here to, you can't see it, but you're going to go right over here on the filters, and you're going to look at sold items. So these are the items that have been sold, that recently listed and sold on eBay, and we can see here that a PSA 10 Charizard roughly goes for about $1,000. So with this $1,000, we're gonna keep that $1,000 at that price in our heads, because that's gonna be very important when we actually go to the PSA site and make a submission. Next thing you wanna do is you wanna type PSA Grading Services onto Google, and go right over here to psacard.com, which will pull up the main PSA website, and go ahead and make an account. It's totally free. And you can go over here to services and you can see what kind of services they do. So they grade cards, they do crossovers, they authenticate cards. They also grade packs too, if you're interested. And they grade like, you know, sports cards, magic cards, etc. And when we go down here, we can see the grading prices. So we can see the types of services that PSA offers. And the biggest thing, once again, you want to keep the price of the card that we saw on eBay in mind. So for the, once again, the example is the Charizard VMAX. We saw that the price was $1,000. So according to these different services here, they have different services based on what the actual card you think it's worth. So we see the value service here, maximum declared value of $199. So if you think that a card is about $200, you pick the value submission. Economy, right now economy is not being offered. So typically cards, this is like the biggest thing, right? This is the biggest service. So it's usually $20 a card to send to PSA, maximum declared value of about $500. But that service has been suspended for right now because I guess there's just too many cards being sent in right now. So regular service is probably the biggest thing that you want to click on. Regular service, maximum declared value, $999. The $1,000 that we saw earlier. So your card, your Charizard card is going to be chosen here under regular services. And then of course there's Express, Super Express, Freeholder, etc. The next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and start your submission. So we're going to hit this green button. I'm going to hit start. And let's go ahead and start a new submission. So it'll list out every single part of the process to submit a card. So it's going to be right over here, regular or small size trading cards, so Pokemon cards, Magic cards, etc. So let's go ahead and check this one, hit next. And let's go ahead and check your submission type. It's going to be grading, and they offer a review, crossover, reholder, whatever you basically need. And when you hit grading, this autograph authentication type window will pop up. So this is going to be a normal Pokemon card, so we don't need any autograph authentication. If it's like a signed Pokemon card, you're going to want to click one of these options. But for the purpose of this video, we don't have an autograph on our Charizard, so let's just hit no autograph authentication, and then hit next. And then it'll bring you up to this window. It's going to be the services types that we explained earlier. The card is about $950 to $1,000, so we're going to hit regular because that's the max amount of the max declared value you can pick with that service. Obviously, if you think your card is super expensive, you're going to want to hit Express, Super Express, the rest of those services. But for this Charizard, it's going to be under regular. So let's go ahead and hit next. So this is where we enter all the details about our card. So our card is Champion's Path, Sword and Shield, Charizard VMAX Secret Rare. So we're going to enter 2020 because that's the name of that's the year of which this set came out. Pokemon Sword and Shield, Champion's Path, Charizard VMAX. And it's gonna be right over here. So there's a bunch of like options for cards. They list every single card in their database. So what you want to pick is gonna be the 2020 Sword and Shield Champion's Path 74 because that's the number of the card. If you look at the bottom left right over here on Pokemon cards, that is where you will find the number of the card, so make sure that matches. So number 74, Full Art Charizard VMAX Secret. And then you're going to want to enter the minimum grade. So this is the grade what you think it's going to be, right? So if you think that your card is a Super 10, like amazing, immaculate, don't assume that, because if it's not, then they'll charge you and send your card back. So you want to list like 2 grades lower than what you think it is. So if you think it's a 10, go with an 8. So that's what we're going to do for the purpose of this video. Minimum grade is optional, so right over here it explains. If your item does not meet the minimum grade of 8.5, it will be returned raw, full grading fee charged. You don't want that to happen, right? If it does meet and exceed it, it's encapsulated into a PSA holder, also known as a slab, that's what these things are called. And then the grading fee will be charged, your order will be processed as normal. So just go ahead and click I have read and understand and close the window. And right over here, once again, we're declaring it as an 8. Make sure you declare it 2 grades lower. And declared value, we saw it's about $950 to $1,000. For the purpose of this service, you cannot exceed $999. So let's go ahead and hit $950 because we saw that on eBay. and then hit save. So right over here, this is your submission. 2020 Sword and Shield 74 Charizard VMAX Secret Rare. Minimum grade of 8, declared value 950. And then let's go ahead and hit next. And make sure you update your address right over here. I'm just gonna blur this out for the video purposes. And go ahead and go down. You'll see your service right over here, insured shipping. Make sure that's there. It's very important because this is an expensive item, you know. So you want to make sure you have insurance, and it could be sent back in one piece. Go ahead and fill out all your card details, etc. And once that happens, you'll receive a confirmation form. And I'm gonna be showing that to you right now. So once you submit your order, this form will pop up, which basically says that your form has been successfully completed. And let's go ahead and talk about what you need to do here. So first off, packaging, we'll talk about just that in just a sec. So what's gonna happen here is that you're gonna print out 3 important pieces of paper. It's gonna be 2 copies of your submission form, as well as an item list. So for your submissions 1 and 2, for these copies here, you're gonna be writing down, there's gonna be a spot on the piece of paper where you have to write down how many orders and how many cards are in the order. So for the purpose of this, we have 1 order and 1 card. So that's all you're gonna write on the piece of paper when you'll see it. Total number of orders, 1. Total number of cards, 1. You're gonna have to write that twice because there's 2 copies here. And then the 3rd piece of paper, which is the list of the order, just include that in your box as well. Also, please print out this label. This label here is going to be stuck on the side of your box, and this is to ensure that they scan this bar and then they pull up your order once it gets to the PSA. And lastly, super important, right? When you ship this, please keep in mind, please pay attention to this. When you ship this, there's 3 different locations here depending on which shipping service you use. So if you're going to use USPS, US Postal Service, you're going to ship it to this location here, Newport Beach, California. If you're going to ship via FedEx, go ahead and send this off to the Irvine location right over here. And if you're using UPS, send it over here in Santa Ana. Just make sure you keep that in mind, which shipping service you're going to. Make sure you list the right address. If you list the wrong address, it's going to create like some sort of like hassle, so just try not to do that. And let's go ahead and talk about packaging. All right, so we're back here at the table, and the first thing they need to do is package the card. So the card needs to be in a penny sleeve. These are super cheap to get. They're like packs of like 1,000. Card needs to be in a penny sleeve and in a semi-rigid top loader, just like this. And something to keep in note is that if you have any tabs from Target or Staples or whatever, make sure you tab the end of the card right over here and have it stick out of the card, so when the PSA Authenticator removes the card from the top loader, it makes it super easier on them because you don't want any like damage or whatever to the card, etc. I don't have any tabs for the purpose of this video, but that's something to keep in mind. Next thing you want to do is you want to take 2 pieces of cardboard. Any cardboard will do. Make sure it just like lines up with the card. Make sure it's about the same size. And you want to sandwich your card between 2 pieces of cardboard like this. And then go ahead and take 2 rubber bands. Rubber band one side like this, and then rubber band the other side like this. Once again, we want to limit as much movement as possible so the card doesn't move and shake and cause any sort of damage, because once again, any damage to the card will get dings off of PSA if that happens. Now, as for the box, I have these boxes that I have bulk bought at Amazon. So this is an 8x5x2 box that I got from Amazon. And these are great for PSA cards because it's really small. It's not that much space in here. And if we can package the card inside here and pack it super tight, it'll limit the movement inside and there won't be any damage. Now what you're gonna wanna do with your card is you wanna take some bubble wrap. I got some extra bubble wrap right over here. And you wanna package the card like this, just sandwich it together. And just cover it all around, just like this. Make sure you got some extra bubble wrap with you. And then just put the card inside right over here. Just like that. And if you have some extra packing peanuts, just put some extra packing peanuts all around, as well as your submission form right over here. That way, once again, we want to limit as much movement as possible when you're shipping these out. And packing peanuts does a great job of making sure that the card doesn't move when it is in transit. And you're basically done. Last thing that you need to do is you need to write the destination of which shipping service that you pick, which location relies on the which shipping service, etc. Either be USPS, UPS, or FedEx. So make sure you write down the correct destination. Also, what you want to do is you want to stick the label that we said earlier on the side of the box right over here, so it's easier to scan. And last thing that you need to do is write down which type of grading service that you picked. So we picked regular as for the purpose of this video. So just write the word regular on the side of the box, underneath the box, etc. And that's basically it. It's gonna take about maybe 2 to 3 weeks for them to grade and send back, and you'll be updated through email. And you're basically done. Hopefully, I wish you all good luck on grading. If you found this video very informative, once again, please like and subscribe down below. Really, really appreciate it. If there's anything I missed, once again, jump into my Twitch chat. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And just jump in and ask me anything about any Magic or Pokemon. I would be glad to answer your questions. So thank you all so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope you take care and stay safe during the middle of this pandemic. And happy grading.